Hey guys, Mrhappy here with a quick announcement. Today, we got confirmation that the date and time of Live Letter 12 will be January 25th at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and if I'm not mistaken, that's noon GMT. I don't know all the rest of the time periods, but you can pretty much figure it out from there. It will be live streamed from Osaka in Japan, and similar to the live letters 10 and 11, this will actually be the first part of a two-part live letter revealing the contents of patch 2.2, with the other part will probably be in late February or early March, if I had to guess. I think he may have revealed that at the live letter 11 as well. And that actually brings me to the next point. Most of this stuff we actually already know. If you watch the live letter 11 or you're active on Reddit or on the forums, you know that it was announced then that the live letter would be in Osaka and it would be January 25th. And we could pretty much expect that it would be the same time. We also knew to expect that Leviathan would be revealed as well. This post does indeed confirm, as well as many of the other posts Yoshi-P has put up lately, that Leviathan will be the primary guest here at Live Letter 12. So he will be the main primal menace of patch 2.2, similar to Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan. But he's not the only thing that's coming in patch 2.2. We know a lot more. It also confirms that we'll see more of the Binding Coil of Bahamut. Again, stuff that we already knew, but to me, the most exciting thing was that Hildebrand's questline will be continued to explain the presence of a memorable Final Fantasy character. Listen, if you haven't done that questline yet, go do it. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Just go do it. It's like 4 quick quests. Just go do them right now. As soon as you watch this, be like, oh, did I do the Hildebrand questline? No, I didn't. Go do them right now. Anyway, additionally, the assistant director, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name because I get English wrong, it's just Japanese names. All right, I'll give it a shot. Horisho Takai will make an appearance to answer questions about the game's design, and then they will also be doing some Q&A about the PlayStation 4 version of the game, which we know is going into beta on February 22nd and is releasing in April. And there's also going to be some miscellaneous announcements, and let's be honest, those are the ones that we look at because, like they said, they're miscellaneous. I think they're not so much miscellaneous as they don't want us to know about them ahead of time. But anyway, with all that out of the way, now all of that is good and fun. But even though I said the Hildebrand thing is what got me most excited, that was not the most exciting part of the post for me. Now, those of you who know, I may not be the best storyteller, but I am a lore junkie. I like knowing all the backgrounds of the dungeons, of the civilizations, you know, the Allegan, Nim, all of the things that are going on with each of the nations. I'm very, very key, especially with Odin and each of the primals. I'm very, very interested in that kind of lore. So, when I saw we were going to be exploring the lore of the Amdapori civilization, I got very excited. So, with that said, there was an announcement of a new dungeon for patch 2.2. Now, as you remember, for patch 2.1, when it was released with 2 hard modes and 1 brand new dungeon, Pharaoh Sirius. And that's a trend that Yoshi-P said is planned for all future patches. So patch 2.2 will introduce us to a bit more of the history behind the Amdapori civilization as we delve into the Ruins of Amdapor. Mind you that name is still pending, but it's a promising name to me. Now, keep in mind, this is not Amdapor Keep Hard Mode we're talking about. We are talking about a brand new dungeon to explain to us a bit more about the Amdapori civilization. I'm hoping there's a good amount of backstory behind why we are going into the Ruins of Amdapor. Now, I want to dedicate a little section of this video to the Amdapori because, quite frankly, we don't know jack squat about them. Not that we don't know that much about them, but here's what we do know. Nim and the Amdapori were rival civilizations that existed in the 5th Astral Era. For those of you wondering how far back that puts them, 2.0 takes place in the currently 7th Astral Era, or at least they like to claim it is, and 1.0 took place in the 6th Astral Era. So that just puts them 1 generation behind us, really, or at least 1 era behind us. Maybe 2 eras if you include the Umbrals, but that's getting into technicalities. Now, Nim we know a lot more about. We know Nim thrives solely because of their reliance on magic. In fact, Nim is the civilization that bore the fruits of fate that would actually give us scholars in A Realm Reborn as a job. While this did eventually become their downfall, turning them into tomberries without a memory of their former lives, we still know a lot more about them than we know about the Amdapori. All we know is that they both fought in the War of the Magi during their era as small civilizations defending their own lands. So this means that after 2.2, we are going to have a lore video about the Amdapori, hopefully. Now, something else very specific about the Nim and the Amdapori was that their civilizations were the ones that survived the 5th Umbral Era. Remember, Umbral eras end the previous Astral Era, so they bring in a new era. So when you go from the 6th Astral Era, we went to the 7th Umbral, and now we're in the 7th Astral. Just remember that's how it works. And that Umbral Era is more commonly referred to as the Umbral Era of Ice. While this has not been 100% confirmed, it is believed. In fact, it's just a theory. This is just a theory thrown out, not even 100% confirmed. This is just a theory. It is believed that every astral era, other than the 7th, was faced around a single element: fire, water, earth, wind, ice, and thunder. So that would give us 6 umbral eras to work with. It is also believed by some of the player base, especially back since 1.0, I remember seeing these things all around, that these events actually bore creation to a number of the primals upon either their beginning or their conclusion. I don't remember if players were saying they thought that a primal brought about this specific thing. Like, for example, in the umbral era of water, Leviathan, it was assumed that Leviathan flooded all the lands. So that's a big one. It's just always assumed that there was a primal of the responding element attached to each umbral era. And with the way that the 7th umbral era was brought in by a primal, that seems even more likely, if you ask me. But anyway, we're going on a ton of tangents right now, so let's at least take a look at what we got here. So that would mean that Nim and the Amdapori at some point overcame all odds against Shiva. They were 2 of the civilizations that overcame the odds against Shiva. Now, this is a bit of a stretch, but it seems convenient that Louis Soix warned us about a rime-covered blade, which, by the way, could mean anything. A rime-covered blade is a sword covered in rime, and I already spoke about how Coerthus, it's a snowy, icy place. That could mean anything. That could be any blade covered in rime, and this is not to say it's one in particular, but that exact wording, using the word rime, is something that is very in tune with Shiva's theme, because, you know, we have Ramu, who's the Lord of Levin, and then we have the Lord of Crags with Titan, but she is known as the Queen of Rime. That's a very specific thing. She's not the Queen of Ice, she's the Queen of Rime. And now we're beginning to explore a bit deeper into the civilizations that may have survived her wrath. If this theory turns out to be true, and again, just a theory, no fact, it would also reignite the theories of primals being born, or at least causing umbral eras. They may not be born from them, they may be born beforehand, they may just have existed all that time and never really threatened a civilization. As you can see, Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, sure, they threaten us right now, but they haven't brought in the 8th umbral era or anything. We're just dealing with them as we're dealing with them, as we dealt with them in the 6th astral era. So anyway, it would reignite those theories of primals being heavily associated with umbral eras. The only outlier in terms of the elemental theory, with each one of the umbral eras being brought in by a specific element, would be Bahamut, who, first of all, he was alive during the era of the Allagan. They are the ones who enclosed him, so he's been around for a long time, we know that. He just re-emerged during the 7th to cause the 7th umbral era. And as far as we know, the closest element you could possibly associate with Bahamut is fire, only because he's, in most Final Fantasies, non-elemental. He's not associated directly with an element. The closest thing you come up with is fire, just because of what he did to the land. He just blew everything up. So don't get me wrong, this theory hangs on a very thin thread, but that's what makes it fun, right? So the theory is we're going to explore the Amdapori civilization to get more answers about the potential threat of Shiva. I don't think we'll fight her in patch 2.2. I don't think she's some sort of hidden primal that they have. I don't think she's the hidden primal that they're holding on to us. They're keeping us anxious for. I don't think it's her. I think she's still another patch away in 2.3 alongside of Ramu, the Lord of Levin. But all we can do is hope that we get some more information about this in the future. As for you guys, what questions do you have for Yoshi-P and crew for the Live Letter 12? Be sure to stop over on the forums and ask your questions. I will post a link to the forums in the description below, and if you look under the dev posts, actually, you know what? I'll post a link to each one of the individual forums that actually have the parts where you can ask your questions, as opposed to just letting you guys find it. I'll actually do that, so don't worry. Remember, they have to stick to the themes set forth for the live letter, so don't go too over the top with your questions. Thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Let me know about what you think the Amdapori civilization is going to bring to us, because as you know, I'm a lore junkie and I love to hear theories about it. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. We can get regular updates about when I'm doing videos like this. And of course, be sure to follow me on Twitch. Remember, February is coming up and it is Final Fantasy February. We are going to go through as many Final Fantasy titles as we can that month, including the new Lightning Return. Sure, it's been out in Japan for a while, but it's coming here now, so I'm going to play it when it gets here. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.